Okay, so I'm codependent. What do I do? In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to address codependency and how to help you to get your power back, to understand who you are, and to actually start being a friend to yourself. Welcome back, friends. Ashley Berges here today. And today I want to address codependency. I want to give you 5 tips on how to help you to overcome codependency, at least start to overcome that, to get your power back and to see who you truly are. In a previous video, I talked about the signs of codependency. And so if you'd like to watch that video now, it's probably a good idea to watch that first and then come back to this video. You'll see the link in the description below. Just click on that, watch that video, and then come back to this one. So in today's video, we're talking about how to address codependency. Okay, let's start. The first thing you want to do is you want to start for the first time being a friend to yourself. I know, that sounds kind of wild, right? I mean, when was the last time that you were actually a friend to yourself? So you want to spend time getting to know yourself, seeing what makes you tick. What do you value? What are your beliefs? It's almost like you're dating yourself, asking those questions that you would ask someone else if you were dating, right? I mean, that's kind of the key here. It's the one thing that most of us never do. We ask other people all these questions. We learn all about them, what makes them tick, their childhood, all this stuff. But when it comes to us, we just sit in complete silence, right? Wrong. We need to take the time to get to know what makes us tick. We need to write down our beliefs and our values and start keeping a journal about us. So start doing that right now, and that's going to really help you because it's probably the first time that you've actually thought about these things when it comes to being you. The second thing you want to do is once you know what really matters to you and what you value most and your belief system, you can begin to start creating boundaries in your relationships, okay? You can't start creating boundaries until then because you'll be putting the cart in front of the horse. We only create boundaries based on our belief system, right? So we have to know what we value and what we believe in so that we can stand strong by those beliefs, okay? So if you go back to the journal, when you wrote down your values and beliefs, I want you to really look at that. So if somebody tries to walk all over your values or your belief system or what you stand for, you can stand up to that and you know when to stand up to that, right? It'll take a lot of practice because if you've never stood up for yourself or created boundaries, this is a start. But over time, practice makes perfect. We got to start somewhere. No matter how fearful we are of it, we've got to start. And that will actually start showing us that we value ourselves. And we'll actually begin to be a friend to ourselves. The third thing that you want to do is you want to allow yourself to be more independent and do the things that you want to do. And so over a period of time, I want you to slowly grow more independent, learning more about yourself, taking the time to do this, right? And this takes practice because in the beginning, we're going to feel lonely, okay? I'm by myself, right? We're going to be like, what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? But remember, when you're feeling lonely with yourself, that means that you're really not working on this at all. You're not really going within or being part of the moment. You're actually just going through the motions, right? So like really thinking about what is it that you want to do. I know that all of us work and we have to go to work, and that's normal, but I'm talking about some of the things that you want to do outside of that. Do you want to take a painting class? Do you want to take a guitar class? Do you want to go biking, right? Do you want whatever that looks like, and actually taking it upon yourself to doing that, to cultivating that time with you. And that's big because a lot of times we find ourselves doing what? We go home after work, we sit on the couch, we watch TV, and we pray for our phone to ring, that somebody will call us and get us out of our misery because we can't stand being by ourselves, right? And so really taking that time to get to know you, doing things that you want to do. And you know what's funny about that? When we start doing the things we want to do that we actually care about, we'll actually start meeting people that actually like to do the same things we like to do. And you see how powerful that is? We're doing things for us that lead us to learning and meeting new people that like to do the same thing. So we're not trying to do things we don't want to do just to meet other people, right? We're actually putting ourselves out there in the right place to meet people and also cultivating a relationship with ourselves. The next thing that I want you to do is to see the cycle of codependence from the beginning. Understanding the behavior and how it came to be with the family dynamic that you were raised in, right? I don't want you to be critical of yourself, though. I don't want you to be critical of yourself. I want you to learn and grow. There's nothing to be ashamed of, right? I want you to just go through and see how the cycle began, because when we actually look at how something was created, we understand how to change it, okay? But we have to get real pretty much with our family dynamic and how we grew up. So like in the previous video when I was talking about we might have grown up in a family dynamic where our parents were also codependent and they didn't even see their own value, right? So they put all their energy into us, right? And so we became their project and we learned how to do that again. So our kids become our project or our relationship or our husband or wife. Or we could have been raised in the family dynamic where the family was more narcissistic. And we did whatever we could to get attention from them. And so we kept doing anything that we thought they wanted us to do. We never went inside to understand what we wanted to do. We did whatever we could to get the attention and the love and the validation from the outside world. Okay? And so when we understand from what place we came, we can understand how we can make changes and how to end that cycle. Because you and I both know that the value comes from within. Right? Even if we were sold a bill of goods that it doesn't, that's not the truth, right? And so we have to cultivate ourselves and begin to see that. And we can't start that cultivation of unconditional self-love until we actually see where this cycle began. Last but not least, I want you to begin to deal with your fear of being alone, okay? This will help you to identify and to avoid toxic relationships. Okay, so that's the key. Toxic relationships are only distractions. And these distractions get in the way from us getting to know who we are, right? Because what happens in these toxic relationships when we are dealing with codependency is that we lose ourselves in trying to save the other person or help them, and that's just not healthy. So we have to begin to work on our fear of being alone. And that all directly relates into what I've been talking about, because when you start cultivating a real genuine friendship with yourself, like getting to know yourself and finding out like beliefs and values and kind of asking some of those questions and kind of really journaling and kind of getting to know yourself and actually caring about yourself, all of a sudden you begin to care about yourself enough that you really don't want to expose yourself to toxicity. And remembering that that toxicity that we expose ourselves to is because we can't be alone. We fear being alone so much that we'd rather deal with the devil we know, right? And that's not good. That doesn't help anybody. And in the process, when we do get into those toxic relationships, we get derailed from getting to know ourselves because we're dealing with so much toxicity and so much drama that we really don't have the time or the emotional ability to go within. And we begin to lose ourselves. So think about that, is that many of us have that fear of being alone, and that fear of being alone it'll attract any type of relationship. And usually those relationships that we attract, they're completely unhealthy and they'll eventually blow up. But in the meantime, it'll be a huge distraction to getting to know ourselves and to growing. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and also give us a like if you like this video and it's helped you, because codependency is real. And when we're codependent, we find ourselves getting into relationships that, they're quite toxic and we don't get to know ourselves. In the comment section below, please let me know some things that you've done that has really helped to alleviate your codependent tendencies. Because again, remember, it takes a village, and honesty really helps us all, and that knowledge is power. Thank you for watching the video and sharing it with friends and family, and don't forget to live your true life.